welcome to another episode of Talking Taste. I'm Brandon Bass. I'm here with TJ.
Tony Carter.
I'm here with TJ
Okay.
and our special guest today, Tony
Coach.
Carter,
Tony Carter.
TC.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you guys for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Dog.
Okay. So when it comes to taste, what comes to mind?
Taste. I mean, initially you think about food, but for me, it's more a preference in people.
Okay.
Your taste and how you move, how you act, how you carry yourself, and the type of people that you interact with because you want to and not because you have to. So that's your taste of people.
Let's talk about that. What kind of people you like to interact with?
I think down to earth is the first thing I think about. Down to earth people, people who are genuine, um, and that's the start of everything else. I mean, obviously you want, you hear the cliche words: hard workers, grinders, consistency. But for me, it's all about just being down to earth and genuine. I think the rest will flow.
Absolutely, I agree with that. I like I like to think of myself as being a genuine person and down to earth. You know, even though sometimes when you see somebody, you can have your little opinion about somebody, but chat with them a little bit, find out a little bit about it. What do you think, TJ?
I agree 1000%.
All right, there you go. Taste of people. Um, so I know you had a long football career,
Yeah.
right? Where did that passion come from early on?
I think just initially it's just trying to find a way to better my situation, go to college. I wasn't really thinking about being professional or anything like that. I just knew that there was a better life outside of what I saw and what I was around, and I thought that sports was a way to do it. And early on, I didn't think football. I'm not that big, so football was like I didn't really like football growing up, but I always played. So it was just the way is my parents or my grandmother. She always taught us like, okay, after school, you have to go do something. You either going to tutoring, study hall, or you gonna go to practice. So just play sports year round. And once I got to like middle school, I was like, oh, I saw the guys that were older than me in high school getting ready to go to college. So I was like, okay, this is something I probably would want to do.
So is that when you start taking football serious? Or was it basketball and football?
It was pretty. I played baseball growing up. Ran track, basketball. I wouldn't say I started taking it serious probably like 10th grade. It was just a part of just what you did every day. You go to practice, you go to workouts. You surround yourself with good people and see what'll happen. But honestly, taking it serious, I don't think I really took it serious even when I got to professional. It was just like that's what I'm used to. Like I knew right from wrong. If you're supposed to be somewhere at 9 o'clock, you show up at 9. If they tell you to do this, then you do that. And then good things will happen. So I never really took it like overly serious. I just knew that there's a blueprint to, making it to the highest level. So I'll just follow that blueprint as best I can.
So you never like I remember when I was coming up, like I remember like maybe 14, 15,
Mm-hmm.
when I realized like I got a chance to play in the NBA. Like my focus of with basketball just changed. But I wasn't a all around athlete either. Though. I didn't play baseball, football. Um, I feel like that's why you took that route because you was an all around athlete. And what was it towards the end you realized that that was the best sport for you?
Yeah, once so my dad probably your size, 6'4", 6'5", or you taller than that, but he was he was Mr. Basketball in Florida. He played basketball at Florida State. So I always grew up liking basketball.
Okay.
So I thought I was gonna be a basketball player when we were kids. TJ and I played together, AAU and But then I stopped growing. I probably been the same height since about 7th grade.
Damn, so you was a big seventh
So
grader.
when I was younger, I was kind of long, like long arms, long legs. And then I've been the same height since like 7th grade. So then um, I'm like, hell, it ain't too many 5'10" NBA players out there. So let me try to, lock in on football and track. And then it just so happened, like being from the state of Florida, a lot of football is in the South. So it was easier to kind of like get noticed at that. So that's kind of why I stuck with football.
When did you and TJ first meet?
Uh, we probably middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah, we met middle school. It's crazy. I probably never told him this, but so I watched him, and he's a year older than me. So I think I was in 7th grade and he was in 8th grade. And my middle school history teacher was the girls basketball coach at his high school, Alderton Country Day. So my middle school teacher, um, the girls used to play before the boys. So I went to a game to go, watch the girls play and the boys afterwards. And my middle school teacher was like, "Man, we got this 8th grader, TJ. He's like, he playing varsity. He's like, he the truth." And he came out with some long sleeves on. He during warm-ups, he had long sleeves under his jersey. I'm like, this is the first person I ever saw with long sleeves under the jersey. And so I was like, dang, if he can play varsity in 8th grade, I can play varsity in 8th grade, even though I was a 7th grader. So my middle school teacher, he was like, this dude is gonna be the next like good point guard to come out of Jacksonville. And after that, I was like, I wasn't like a groupie or nothing like that, but I admired how he moved and how he went about it, and I kind of looked up to him. And he don't even know that. I never even told him that. But after that, we met a year later. His dad was coaching at the high school that I went to, and then we just started playing. We already knew each other from playing circuit and all that stuff, but that's when we became close.
What position were you?
In basketball, I was a guard.
What, 2, 1?
Run around and steal the ball and jump around. A 1-2 guard.
1, 2 guard.
Yeah.
But probably one of the most athletic on the court at the time.
I would say that. Yeah, I was athletic, but I wasn't known like you. I was athletic for a small guy, not like basketball. You think athletic like wing guy dunking on everybody. Nah, I wasn't that. I was just athletic for my size.
So you and TJ in the backcourt, huh?
Nah, he was starting. I was off. Yeah, I was coming off the bench. We had some good players actually.
Brett was on our team.
Yeah, they had some good players. So
What, AU?
Yeah.
yeah, so we had some. I think on our AAU team, if you say like 11 kids within that age group, probably like 10 of us played football or basketball high D1. So it was probably like the best athletes from that area and made a AAU basketball team. That's kind of how it was.
There's some good talent out there, Will.
There's a lot of talent. Yeah, a lot of talent. So
So that's when y'all met. What was it like playing football in high school? Would you say that was some great times for you?
hell no.
No?
Nah, I ain't gonna lie to you. When I was young, when I first started, I was small. My freshman year of high school, I probably was 5'9", 135 pounds. But I was fast, had good skills, and I was getting my ass tore up in practice. Like, and it was like bully mode. Like I was getting hit. Like I played running back my freshman year on varsity, and I was starting too. And
Running back, freshman, starting,
I was getting tore up.
135.
135, and I was playing DB, so I was playing running back and DB, and I was getting tore up out there. I mean, getting killed, but it made me tough. Like that 1 year as a freshman made me tough. So I went to Inglewood High School my freshman year, and we went 0-10. So imagine a running back 130, you play on an 0-10 team. I'm getting fucked up every week.
Was y'all a running team or a throwing team?
We were running the ball, throwing it. Now, but what it taught me was, all right, if you can make it through this, then I went to another school. I went to Mandarin High School my 10th grade year, and that was like a football school, more, known for, putting out a lot of guys that went to college. And so I got there, and I got cut the first day. They didn't even put me on the team.
And
Because
what grade was that?
10th grade, and I
10th grade?
started in 9th grade.
Uh-huh.
So I went to school there. I went on like a magnet program. So school was like 40 minutes from my house. So it was a big sacrifice to get there. And I go there, and I wasn't there in the summertime because I was a transfer. So the first day they had like tryouts, but they already had a team before it even started. So then I go home because the next day they was like, "Oh, you didn't make the team." So my grandma like, "What you doing home?" And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't make the team. Didn't even make JV." So then so my middle school same guy, Mark Kelly, Coach Kelly, he was at the middle school still. He called the principal and like, "Hey, this the kid I sent over there. He didn't make the team, not even JV." So the coach came and got me out of class, and I ended up playing varsity. He put me right on the varsity team.
Oh, from that same high school?
From the same
Oh,
school.
your coach called him?
From my coach called him. He didn't know I was the kid that started at Inglewood as a running back. He didn't think I was the same guy because he thought I was much bigger than that. So I get to school there. So the 10th grade, I'm playing varsity. The first 5 or 6 games, I didn't even get in the game. And I started my whole freshman year. So then somebody got hurt. I got 2 interceptions after that. It was like, whatever. It was good.
What was your thinking during that time?
Honestly, I wasn't really thinking like, oh, I should transfer. It wasn't an option. Um, I was like, oh, I'm going to develop. I was like, I don't have to be good in 10th grade as long as I get a scholarship by my senior year. So my friends were at other schools. They probably were playing, but I didn't really care. It was more so like, all right, I know when it's my turn, I'll be ready. And it just so happened like the middle of my 10th grade season, they threw me out there because other guys got hurt. And then I had to prove myself. So that's the mentality of proving myself has always been in me. So
We've been talking about this lately. Go
Yeah.
ahead and talk about this, CJ.
Just talk about no, we talk about that all the time, bro. About proving yourself. So your career is a testament of proving yourself all your entire life. Watching you from, like you say, middle school, high school, Florida State, shoulder surgery after shoulder surgery, come back and prove yourself. Go to the NFL, gotta prove yourself. What would you have to say to the youth about your career and how important that was and how much did that build your character and turn you into the man you are today?
I would say just, you never get too high or too low. I think like I've always had the mentality of proving myself. Even when I was starting, I started 4 years in college. So I don't know what it's like to not start in college. But shit, I couldn't even make the team in 10th grade. I'm like, that didn't make sense. So in the back of my mind, I always had like a confident arrogance in the back of my mind. But on the surface, I'm like, shit, they can get rid of me any day. So just making sure you do your part and don't worry about the circumstances of no matter where you are. Like I can control what time I wake up. I control my energy. I control how hard I work. I control the decisions I make. So if I do all that the right way, then I got a good chance when my opportunity comes. And not being afraid when the moment comes. A lot of people have talent. Some people have a whole lot of talent, but when the lights come on, they punks. You know what I mean? So it's a difference between like having the ability, the talent, the decision making, and then having like, something that they can't put on paper, which is hard. And, I never had to question that. So in the back of my mind, it was like whoever I'm playing against, whoever I'm going against, like I know they ain't got more dog than me. That's how I'm thinking.
So I like the attitude though. I like the attitude of being able to basically just controlling what you can control, right?
Correct.
It's like what me and TJ have been talking about lately is a bunch of kids feeling entitled.
Uh-huh.
Like you started as a freshman, basically didn't make the team at the next school as a sophomore.
Correct.
And it's kids that's not even on that level, and they feel entitled to start wherever they go.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is, control what you can control. You know, have an amazing attitude, and understand like that. You know that you haven't arrived yet, especially if you're not starting.
Correct. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
my thing is kind of like, even with my son, right? Is I try to always look in the mirror first,
Yeah.
because that's what I had to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't fortunate enough to have everything handed to me my whole career either. So I think just right attitude, right approach is good for kids to
Correct.
be here.
Yes.
And that what you went through in 9th and 10th grade was like a testament to you and how you was raised and to look at certain things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt. I do think that no matter what, you guys are parents and you guys, coach kids and always around the youth. Like you can't make them. That's the thing that I'm learning. Like you can't make them have what the intangibles that you like that they should have.
Absolutely. Yep.
Like you can't make them. And
But look, I don't want to make them have. I don't want to give them an excuse for everything.
correct.
I'd rather give them what I know works.
Yep.
Versus, hey man, let's just go to another school.
Right. All right.
No, let's just go here.
Yeah.
Oh, your coach bad.
Correct.
Correct. Like, what happened is everywhere you go, it's gonna be the same thing.
It's always gonna be something.
You feel what I'm saying?
Correct.
So
Correct.
if you look in that mirror, when you always look in that mirror, you kind of controlling your destiny.
Yeah.
Versus having someone else control it.
Correct.
That's why I think we talking about when we talking about off camera is always about adjusting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like my career, right? Man, wasn't nobody adjusting to me, man. It was like, no, you got to do the adjusting.
Right.
Or
else.
Or else.
Yeah.
Out of here, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
My first year in the NBA, man, Byron Scott was running the Princeton offense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dribbling handoffs and all this, but we had Chris Paul as the point guard.
Mm-hmm.
So during practice, we had a playbook of plays that we went through, right? Every practice. But Chris Paul, the point guard, he gonna just do all pick and roll, pick and pop stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's like, damn, coach, why we doing all these plays in practice, but we only gonna do pick and roll in the game?
Yeah.
That ain't my business. Right. I gotta adjust to my coach.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember this. He said, Brandon, look, I'm a McDonald's All-American. I'm a freshman of the year, player in college, right? I get to the NBA, I'm a second round pick. And he told me, like, I need you to be an energy player. It's an energy player, man. I don't know what the fucking energy player is. He's like, I need you to just run down the court hard as you can every time. I need you to go after every offensive rebound every time. And I'm thinking to myself, bro, like, I'm a scorer, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I had to take a step back. Mm-hmm. Like, this is what you got to do to get on the court. And you need to sharpen up the shit that you think you're great at, because apparently you ain't that good at that.
Right, correct.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, that's kind of how I feel like kids should take that approach, you know what I mean?
Well, I think the hard part to get that through to them is because everything in their life is like instant. They can get it instantly. Okay. If they want to learn, like back in our day, it was because your parents or whoever your guardian was said so. Now they can check your facts and Google it. Like if they want to get some food, hell, they can call Instacart, Uber Eats. Yep. It was like, hell, you had to wait. You had to thaw the food out. Like you were taught to be more patient. Yeah. So I think patience is like something that's why the entitlement is there, because they lack patience. So now what I'm learning is how do we reach them on the level that they think, because we don't think like that. Now, I'm not saying we should fold or we should like just give up on old school thinking or how we were taught, but I do think that there's like a median to where you can reach them. And sometimes that's just like, y'all guys work with kids and stuff. Like, you ain't never had nobody video you training. You just went home and told them what happened. Like, oh, I learned this, but we're going to find out when we play. So now it's like we got to give a little bit. We got to videotape them to make them feel confident, to make them feel like it's working, So, and you see that with professional athletes now as well. So I think that just adjusting to the times but at the end of the day, the main word I like was you adjusting. You know, you got to always have room to adjust and know that it's not going to ever go
You know what?
your way.
Yeah. But I like what you're saying though too. Is like you got to kind of get on their level, kind of see how they seeing things.
Yeah, you do.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
still making an
You do.
adjustment.
But
Exactly. It's
that
definitely still
is,
an
and
adjustment.
that comes with, I think, the what happens is once you get a certain age, right? I'm 37 and I have like an old school mentality. Like, so we have to grow more as adults in areas that we probably feel like we shouldn't have to grow in. You know what I mean? Because we're in leadership roles. So before it's like, man, I'm such and such. I ain't gotta do the Justin, you gotta do the Justin. But now it's like, man, you know what? I gotta find creative ways, like, like we were talking off camera, like the PowerPoints. I go up there and put some doggone uh Dragon Ball Z stuff on the screen just so they'll
I understand.
get their attention.
Yeah.
And then I talk about whatever I want to talk about.
Now you got to skillfully figure out a way to get to people in relationships,
Mm-hmm.
and like that's what I learned. Like and I'm still learning as an adult. Is that what you got to do? Because like my thing is I be saying a lot is like if you don't listen, life gonna teach you.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah.
can fight it if you want. Okay, cool.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And life be showing me too.
Correct.
Like you ain't gotta learn right now, but you gonna learn it because it's gonna keep presenting itself. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Um, so, but another question I wanted to ask you was, did you have a plan for your career? Like you know how you like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, but I was afraid to say it out loud
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like, man, this shit don't work. I gotta eat my words.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, more so just maximizing, maximizing opportunities was like really my plan.
Mm-hmm.
Cause you don't know what kind of opportunities that's gonna come your way or not come. But I'm like, I be damn. Like if it's time to run the 40, I'm running 4.3 or lower. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If if I'm going against whoever I'm playing against, we playing against Miami, Florida State, I gotta get two interceptions or interception. I think every time we played them, I got one. So it's more like you just little small short term goals, and then those short term goals will turn into big things in the future. So that's kind of how I thought about it because I never wanted to look too far ahead because hell, I was always getting hurt or something was happening. So that shit would always go alter what I was really trying to do. So I just made myself have like short term goals, and it could be as simple as I'm gonna be 30 minutes early for workouts for a week. That's hard. You know what I mean? When you young and you got other things going on, so I still do it to this day. Give myself like little small short term goals, and that's something that I would say to the youth, or people who anybody that's listening to this, they can be old or young. Start off small, and those small things will turn into like habits, and that's what I tried to do. And then you look up, it's like, all right, I've been playing this amount of time now. Like this is who I am now. So whatever you brand yourself as in sports, you got to keep that up. You know what I mean? Like your coach told you to be an energy player, right? And it hurt your feelings at the time.
Well, I didn't understand what the fuck you talking about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But once you did, you was like, okay, I get it now. You know what I mean? Like I had a coach tell me once, in college, he used to call me little shit, like my freshman year. And he's like, you little shit, you can't afford to be slow. He's like, if you slow, you don't need to be, it's no use for you.
Right, right, for sure.
So it's like, you always got to be fast. Everything you do got to be fast. So I was like, okay, that's my role. I got to be fast all the time. So, you know.
You know what? I didn't. Yeah. So did you take that personally when he said that? Like calling you a little shit, you gotta be fast.
Nah, I didn't take it personal. I thought it was like, I appreciate it.
Right.
he really put me on game because I'm already feeling insecure about parts of, me being here and being out here. No matter who you are, everybody got insecurities about themselves or their game or whatever. So I'm like, I appreciate him telling me that and not just talking behind my back. You know, I've always respected coaches that told me like the truth, no matter how they delivered it, because I know it ain't personal. You just trying to get the best out of me, and I think that's another thing that you know, with the,
Difference there.
I'm not gonna say I can't stand it because I respect it, and I do respect all the parents who are like more so involved as well because it's good. But I do think I think that people have to understand the personality of the people that's in control, and it's not your job to know everything of their approach or why they doing something. You know, like I come from a back the fuck up. You don't ask why, you just back up.
Right.
And once you get older, you realize, damn, I find myself coaching the same way that my old coach did back in the day. And I didn't even like it when he did it.
Right.
So,
Let me ask you this. Coach Mike and Coach David, how many of these kids today do you think could have played for them coaches?
a few. Now, what I will say is, we are blessed enough to be in a place like this, right? Nice gym, you know, kids go to good schools. We ain't had no choice. If our parents had the money to send us to Mount Vernon or somewhere like that, or then we probably would have went, just because you got the talent and all that stuff. But you didn't really have those resources, so you get whatever you can get.
Right.
Nowadays, when you have social media, you got outlets to do these different things, then you can pick and choose what situation you put your kids in. So, to answer your question, we didn't have no choice. These the best group of kids playing in this area. Fuck, you ain't gonna go send your kids to play with these sorry kids, so you don't get a honest look. So whatever he's telling you, that's what we gonna do. However he's cursing at you, you got to take it. So, I do like the options that kids have and that people have, just because you can see different ways of life. But when you don't have a choice, or when you don't have this phone to look up what they doing in New York, New Jersey, you just know what your neighborhood is doing, then that's what it is.
It's like from when we grew up to the kids today, like we would call those kids like smart Alex. You know what I'm saying? They want to know why this and that.
Right.
No, what's going down?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's one of those things that it's cool that the kids have more opportunities. You know what I'm saying? I feel like us, you know, we got that old school in us, but we still want to be better,
Mm-hmm.
in whatever we're doing. And I don't think we'll approach the coaching kids like our coaches approach it. But we got it in us now.
Right,
You
right.
know what I'm saying? But do you see yourself? Well, I don't want to say that now. So tell me about Florida State. You started all 4 years there.
Yep.
Um,
Well, I redshirted when I got there. I had surgery coming into college. So as soon as I got there, I knew I wasn't gonna play. I had shoulder surgery. So after that, then
you was on.
yeah. So it was on. Really, it was. We had. I wasn't predicted to start. I was like going into spring of my redshirt freshman year. I was like fourth on the depth chart, and that's fourth on one side. So that's like 8 dudes. And then they brought in recruits to, they trying to find better every year. So we had so I wasn't even predicted to be in the rotation at all. And that summer, um, most people know Antonio Cromartie. He was a all pro corner, played for a long time. Probably gonna be in the Hall of Fame sooner or later. But he was predicted to be the starter on one side. He got hurt. He tore his ACL in the summertime. And so now it was like, oh, that was our top corner at the time. Like it's open battle now. So I'm like, oh shit, I smelt it, you know. So it's my time. So at the time, I wasn't considered a guy they wanted to start. At that time, I was still 5'9", 155 pounds.
Like what?
So like,
At Florida State.
yes. So
But you had to be bad.
yeah,
You had to be
I could
bad.
cover. I could cover. I could always cover. And they knew that I wasn't like a physical guy, but you know, they knew I was gonna throw whatever I had in there, you know. And fast forward, I ended up winning the job. So I had to battle it out all spring, all fall camp. And I remember Coach Bowden, he called me into his office and he's like, first of all, when Coach Bowden called you, it's like either something real good or real bad. So I'm like, oh shit, what I did. So he's like, hey, he's like, we gonna start you. We playing Miami the first game. They ranked number 2, we ranked number 3, I think, at the time. And he called me in his office, like, hey, you gonna start. You gonna be the only freshman starting for us. He's like, you earned it. I'm like, all right, cool. He's like, I ain't started a freshman since Terrell Buckley or Dion at corner. He's like, come on. I'm like, all right, cool.
How was that? How you felt about that?
It was good. It was like, I'm calling everybody. Hey, bro, I'm starting. Come to the game.
Watch the game.
And all these, and before then, they ain't hear from me all camp. I'm like, I don't know what the hell gonna happen. So I remember calling my brother back at home. My brother's 5 years older than me, and I'm like, he like, how's it going? I'm like, man, I'm doing good. This is in practice, and you can tell he listening to me, but he like, he can't be doing that damn good. So when I called, I said, bro, I'm starting first game of the year against Miami. He said, what? I said, yeah. It ended up working out well. I got player of the game, ACC player of the week, my first game. That's when I started wilding out in Tallahassee.
So from that moment on, you big man on campus. You one of those guys.
Not really, honestly, no. Nah, I didn't really, yes and no, because I didn't really carry myself like that. Like, I hung around my homeboys, my cousins, my friends. I didn't hang around my teammates. Like, I hung around my teammates that I live with, but I always kept that kind of like that focus. Like, I didn't drink, never had one drink in college, haven't smoked to this day. So I always kind of knew like my mindset, like I came here for this. Now I would say after that, I was like, oh, if I can play against these dudes, I got a chance to go professional. So at that point, that's when the switch clicked. Like, all right, man, like you got to make sure that you able to, you know, do control what you control. So it was good, but I had a lot of injuries there, and you know,
Yeah. Would you say that was the best time, the best like 4 years of your life?
by far,
By far.
by far, no money.
Right.
You know, had a car for about my last year, maybe my last 2 years, but it was good because I'm sure you guys all know you went to college, and you know the hard part about it is you're so uncertain about what's gonna happen next, and you other people saying that this may happen, you know, and but in the back of your mind you just praying every single day, like, man, I hope I'm able to like make the right decisions. Man, don't put me in a messed up situation. You see my roommates, they getting kicked off the team for weed. Oh, I'm glad I ain't smoked with them. You know, guys getting in trouble because of girl situations. Man, I'm glad I hung around this dude instead of this guy. So it's like a lot of things. Like my cousin got killed when I was in college. My brother got shot. He's still alive, but a whole bunch of stuff happened back home or even in college, and you just like, man, this could have been me. This could have been me, or it didn't happen. So I would just say that's where I found my faith, because I was able to start making decisions for myself, and you know that's one thing that people don't know about Bobby Bowden is, or they do know, but he encouraged all his players. All he talked about was Jesus Christ and your relationship with God. He didn't really focus on coaching you, any of that. Like his main purpose was every player that comes through here is gonna know who their Lord and Savior is. So that helped me out a lot because Sundays We went to church.
As a team in college?
Not every Sunday, but like he took us to church at the beginning of the year, and then he always had like we had chapel before every game. We had guest speakers, um, the day of the game, so everything was geared toward like your faith. And so a lot of guys, drew to it, and some guys didn't. But for me, I was like, not knowing where my life was gonna go, I'm like, I'd rather try this route than try another route. Not saying that I didn't have fun or had sex and all that stuff, yes, but it kind of it helped me out with my foundation, and I think that's
He helped you prioritize, right?
correct.
Because that's what I felt it was for me. Because, I asked the question because college was the best time for me as well. And it was like the middle for me, right? It was like where I'm not a kid, because I got my own spot, you know, I'm getting a little bread from financial aid.
Right.
You know what I mean? I got a little whip, I got a spot to bring a girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
All cousins, all my auntie won't be tripping on me.
Right.
That's great. So I just felt like, college was the best time for me. But just as far as like, since we was on the topic of like religion and stuff like that, I feel like um, whenever you kind of like seeking to be like for more success and you don't really know where it's gonna come from, how you gonna get there, I feel like having like a relationship with God and to build your faith up, along with your work ethic is very important.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It gives you a great foundation and a way to have structure and prioritize your life to where, okay, you say like, okay, I'm gonna make sure I say my prayers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my work. I'm gonna go to practice. I'm gonna do my extra work or whatever that may be. And then if I got time to play around, I'm gonna play around.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So that was great of coach to put that in your life. Um, when did you think you was gonna be able to turn pro?
I was probably like my junior year. Well, I always knew because all the guys who were there in front of me, it was kind of like, okay, if you started at Florida State as DB, then you probably gonna go pro. So it was like that was like a hidden rule. It was just like so. I kind of always thought. So my junior year, I was gonna leave early, and and I probably should have left. Looking back on it, because I had graduated. Hell, I was battling injuries back and forth. So if I stay in school another year, then it's just opportunity for me to get hurt again. I got 3 years worth of film. Now I probably could have developed more and did all those things, but I had probably seven interceptions my junior year. I'm like, hell, I should probably just leave. I'm gonna run fast at the combine. That's all they really looking at. I'm not gonna get any bigger, be the same size next year, but I end up staying. Um, just because they like, hell, if you ain't gonna be a top pick, then you probably should stay in school. But in reality, looking back on it, I wish I had left because my senior year I ended up getting hurt and all this stuff and didn't get drafted. So I went from like, damn, I want people bored to not even getting drafted, which ended up probably being the best thing that ever happened to me because I got more of that humble pie back from ninth grade again. So it was good.
Did it make you work harder or uh, tell me this? So being that you was undrafted
Mm-hmm.
and you played 7 years in the NFL, right?
8.
8.
Yep.
You kind of moved around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You played what 3-4 years with Denver?
Yeah, I did one. Well, 5 total. 5 total. 5 total there. Yep.
5 total with them. So in the NBA, they would call that like a journeyman.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Do you look at your NFL career as a success?
I mean, I think if you're able to even talk about it, it's a success. Like I just think about all the people I grew up with. Shit, it was like 2 of us, 3 of us, and I probably was the 10th most talented guy. So I think anybody who's able to say they played on any professional level at a sport, that's success, because that's like a small percentage. And to me, I don't think it's a success because my standard for success is like way up here. But to the average person, yes. But for me, I'm like, hell no. If I'm not like Champ Bailey, the real Revis, then no. But I'm also looking at it. That's how I think. What's my level? What's my standard for success? Like coming out of high school, my goal was to be the #1 corner in the country. No, if I never told nobody that, but fuck, that's what I'm reading every single day.
Right.
So if I ain't that, then hell no. Coming out of college, I want to be the first corner taken. I ain't that, hell no. You know, in the NFL, I want to start. I want to do all these things. If I'm not that, then no. So if you're asking me, no. But to the average person or to motivate other people, correct. I think so.
Well, I think so, and the reason why I think so is because like um, when we have like, cause I think I felt like I was a journeyman too, I had certain successes in certain spots, in certain years, but I feel like I didn't know so many people looked up to you when you were a journeyman.
Mm-hmm.
You were somewhat of an underdog. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like, I feel like you are a success story, and I feel like there's more people that look up to you than you think. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of kids out there that's going to have your route,
Correct.
being
Yeah.
undrafted and play for a couple different teams and have to call it a career. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, I look at it. I look at that as a success, and I feel like you should too. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't realize that until like I was almost retired, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the kid walked into me that was in the NBA. He was like, man, he's like, bro, I know that everybody be wanting to be like certain people. He's like, bro, man, I want to be like you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the shit kind of gave me chills in the
Mm-hmm.
moment because like I didn't really think about it like that, you know. Cause I was just so focused on being the best I can be.
Right.
But but there are kids who that's who they gonna be. They gonna be
Right. That's
Tony Carter.
that's
You know what I mean?
90% of it.
You feel me?
It's only 5% of them other
You
guys.
feel me? They gonna be
Yeah, no
exactly.
doubt.
They gonna be the other guy.
No, I agree.
So that's why I wanted to ask you that question. But what did you take away from having to like injuries, having to I don't know, get waived and pick back up?
Mm-hmm.
What did you learn from that experience? What did you take away from it?
I would say a crazy story I had. I was in my third year. I think I was going into my third year, and I was not on. I was on. I wasn't on the team. I played in Denver my first year, New England my second year, and then I ended up going back to Denver. Before I went back, it was like 4 or 5 weeks into the season, and I was on the street. I didn't have a job, so I was here in Orlando training, and I remember calling. No, actually, I don't know. We spoke on the phone, but Champ Bailey, right? Everybody knows who that is. And him and I spoke on the phone, and he was like, "You good?" I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "I'm just working out, training, trying to figure out what's what." So I remember him saying, he said, "What else you gonna do?" And I'm like, "Shit, I don't know." He said, "Well, if you don't have no plan to what you gonna do next, then you're doing the right thing." He's like, "Your opportunity gonna come again." He's like, "Just make sure you're ready when it does come." He's like, "Don't be at the crib bitching." He's like, "Not saying that you are, but make sure, whenever your opportunity that your phone does ring, that you don't feel this feeling again." So this somebody who's I look up to, who had became a good friend at the time and still are friends. And for him to say that just made me turn into like, oh shit, I needed it. I'm like, cause I'm at the house and I'm like, not feeling bad for myself, but I was working as if like I'm mad at the NFL or I'm mad at somebody else. But then I'm like, nah, like you still got money, you still can survive a little bit. Like it's not the end of the world. And so I think that after that experience, the Broncos called me back and I ended up staying there for another 4 years and ended up playing and, having a good stint with them. And it was kind of one of those moments to where I made sure that I didn't feel that again because of what I can control. So, and then I knew how to be a professional. Early on, I didn't know. I was like, oh, I don't fuck with them. You know, like, I'm not going to eat lunch at Mr. Such and Such house. I ain't doing all that. And then I'm like, oh, it's more to it than just being here playing. Like, let me show my personality. Let me start talking to people. Let me go eat lunch with this person. Let me sit at the table, you know, with this person instead of eating with my boys all the time. So, so I had to learn that side of it. And I think that's kind of why being a likable person, this is something I would tell younger people, that it's kind of a, they may know it, but they don't really know it until it actually happens. Being a likable person will make you survive longer. Like, if they like you, then it's like I coach now, so I sit in the war rooms fighting for players. If it's a player that I'm like, I actually like his personality, you know, I can count on him, and y'all like the same, I'm going with the guy I like because it's some trust there, and it's, you know, so
You like it.
not being afraid to, like, not kiss ass, not saying that, but like show your personality. Like, we show our personality to our boys, but when we get in that sports world, we kind of turn it off because we feel like that's not acceptable. But it really is.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of fell victim to that. It's like, you know how things would be your gift and your curse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and like you said, you don't really show your personality to everybody. You show it to your boy because you're more comfortable with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I used to be so focused on sports and basketball and being, you know, I don't know, being the best I could be, that I'd be like, man, I ain't with none of that, bro.
Right.
I just want to come to the gym. I just want to hoop and I'm going home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't gotta go over there and do that, but I feel like it's necessary because you end up building relationships with
Mm-hmm.
people. And like you were saying, as far as like coaching now, you know, you gotta call people. Like if you never if you
Right.
never call nobody,
You can just be sitting on the
you feel
couch.
me?
Yeah.
You feel me? So I always like, for me, it's kind of weird to even try to reach out to people. So I don't even really think to do that because like, bro, I ain't never did that when I was playing, bro. Like, you know, I'm gonna reach out. We gonna be in the locker room next to each other. We gonna build like this.
Right.
We may not build from just, you know, and you might not even see my personality because I'm so focused.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fucking shooting and early. I'm staying late, and
Yeah.
I don't get the chance to hang as much. But so it's definitely necessary to show your personality.
Yeah. No doubt.
Um, but you talked about Darrell Revis, and we got a segment of like this and like that, right? Where we pick between like, you know, two players, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you brought that name up, I was thinking like, who would you choose between like Patrick Peterson or Darrell Revis?
I'm a big fan of both of them. For me, I think um, Patrick Peterson is a way better athlete in my opinion. Like, overall athlete, like he can do everything: run, jump, big, fast, everything. But I would pick Darrell Revis because he's a technician with the talent, and I think he's, in my opinion, within 5 yards, meaning like the first 5 yards and bump and run, he the best corner to ever do it.
Physically.
Physically, within 5 yards, like he wins at the start of each play every single time. So I would say Darrell Reeves, just as far as like his technique, the way he finishes, and I think he has like that ultimately, like he like a silent assassin. Like like he's arguably one of the best corners ever, and you don't really, his highlight tape don't start off with him celebrating like everybody else highlight tape start off celebrating. His highlight tape start off with him dumping somebody. And in my opinion, I just like the way he goes about his business, and you know, the way he carries himself. And within 5 yards of bump and run, he's probably the best to ever do it.
He
So
also gave you some incredible advice, huh?
yeah.
That changed it for you.
Hey man, no, well, no, that was Champ. Darrell Reeves and I came out. We the same high school year, and I've always watched him from afar, so I like his game.
Okay. Richard Sherman or Deion Sanders?
Deion.
Deion, easy, huh?
Yeah, not even close.
Yeah.
Not even close. Deion does it all. I mean, and he went to Florida State, so I'm biased. But I think Deion, just because he's one of the best athletes to ever do it, and he's got probably the best ball skills. You know, like when you talk about lockdown corners, Richard Sherman is tall and rangy, but Deion is like he catches punt return, he does everything. So Deion is probably the best athlete to play shit, damn near football. Besides Bo Jackson, maybe.
What do you think about the cultural impact you had? Like,
I
that
love
Deion
it.
had?
I love it. I mean, I think it's like basically what we were just talking about. He's being himself on the biggest stage you can, like where they tell you can't be yourself. You know, like in coaching, you're supposed to. It's always been a certain way you're supposed to act, dress, do things, what you can and can't say in interviews. And he's just saying everything that we think as black men on our own anyway. He just saying it out loud in front of everybody. He's just like your uncle, you and your uncles watching barbecue, and you saying the same thing Deion saying.
Right, right.
Except for, we probably curse. He don't curse or anything like that. But I do like what he's doing because it's two sides to it. Like he'll give you the wear the shades, the gold chain, talk trash. But then when you watch his kids and watch his teams play, they discipline. Like he's disciplined. Like he's always talking about accountability. Like he didn't get to where he is by just doing all these things without having these other discipline traits. So I think that a lot of people miss those traits because they get so caught up in his appearance and what he's saying and not what he's really doing.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, because I've been having a conversation with a friend of mine who don't like that part of Deion,
Mm-hmm.
and he can't get into the other part because he don't like the glasses and the chain, the jewelry. I love every bit of it,
Mm-hmm.
and because to me, he giving so much confidence for the kids that that's coming up, that come from where I come from,
Correct.
to be themselves.
Yep.
Especially in the time where it's like the NILs where you getting paid for your personality,
Right.
and who you are. You know what I'm saying? I think that's dope that Deion's doing that,
Yeah.
and to me, you need more people to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about like um how can I put this? How certain people are taught is like, how do you make it? It's like you got to be very humble. You can't say certain things.
Mm-hmm.
You got to dress a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
You got to talk a certain way. You got to articulate yourself a certain way. And I just love that Deion is just bringing that to the forefront, to where you could be an incredible person, but just be you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I think like he is humble.
Mm-hmm.
He don't disrespect people.
But it's like this. Like some
You
people
know.
think that's true, but some people think if you got your jewelry on, like if you showing your jewelry, that's not humble. Or you
Right.
showing your car you drive, like, you feel me?
Yeah, I think it's just in sports. I think that's one of the few places it is accepted
Now,
now.
yeah, now,
But behind the scenes, it was always like that. We
absolutely.
just didn't have the cameras to show it.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, Michael Jordan drove a nice car.
All the Porsche it is.
Okay, all the people they did all these things. We just didn't have the camera to see it,
Mm-hmm.
so we didn't really know. Now we got the cameras to see it, so like,
Okay. Randy Moss or Terrell Owens?
Randy Moss.
Okay.
Randy Moss.
And
Yeah.
Antonio Brown or Calvin Johnson?
Calvin Johnson.
Megatron.
God, dog. You gonna never see nobody like that again.
You got to keep it. But you got to talk like this and like that.
Cherokee or the box Chevy?
Woo!
Florida boy.
Uh, he asked me because I had a Jeep Cherokee in college. I'm going with the Jeep Cherokee. Jeep Cherokee.
Plies or Bootsy?
Oh, I'm going with Boosie. I'm going with Boosie. He got me through a lot of long nights in college, and now.
Right.
Going with Boosie.
Ronnie Lott or Ed Reed?
Ed Reed. I think Ed Reed can do it. he did more. Ronnie Lott smashed you every read, got the ball. I like guys with ball skills.
He already said Randy Moss, but I had Jerry Rice and Randy Moss.
Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice can run every route in the book. And yeah, Jerry Rice. Randy Moss probably could Randy Moss can he can take the top off, but Jerry Rice can get you he can run every route in the book.
Technical, huh?
Yeah, very technical.
Last one, Barry Sanders or Emmitt Smith.
Barry Sanders my favorite
I know,
athlete of everything. He's my favorite. Growing up, he's my favorite athlete of all time. So I like Barry Sanders.
All right, man, we're gonna wrap it up, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming through and sharing your story with us, man.
Thank you guys for having me, man. I appreciate it. I like what y'all doing here, so keep it up, and I'm inspired, and challenged more after, sitting down with you guys to, do things the right way, I guess.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Appreciate it.